Comics writer Jim Starlin hated Robin to an extent that I wouldn't even call unreasonable, I would call it unfathomable. And if you don't know who Jim Starlin is, yes, you fucking do. Jim Starlin is the creator of Thanos. He pretty much wrote every book in his original appearances. He was the original writer of the Infinity Saga. He did the life and death of Captain Marvel. And relevant to what we're talking about today, he had a Batman run in the late 80s and also wrote A Death in the Family. Many people in comic circles have pointed out that Jim Starlin hated Robin, but a lot of times when people say those things about writers, it's usually hyperbole. Usually when fans say that a writer hates a character, it's because the fans don't like how that writer wrote that character, and it seems like they're intentionally making them a worse person. Think Tom King and any character ever. Jim Starlin, you see, Jim's a hater on a different level. When talking about the death of Jason Todd, this is what Starlin had to say. Everyone hated Jason Todd. I wanted to kill off Robin as soon as I started writing Batman. The idea of taking a kid along to fight crime is ludicrous. Then Denny O'Neil came up with the phone call-in deal, and he immediately started taking complete credit for the idea of killing off Robin. Okay, so he doesn't like the idea of Robin from a realism perspective. Whatever, okay? I'll address that in a sec, but that's not even the worst of it. Before the idea of Death in the Family was even introduced, DC was going to do a sort of PSA book about the AIDS crisis. DC put out a box for story ideas for who was going to contract AIDS and potentially die. I know, fucking crazy work, hold with me. Jim, seeing an opportunity, filled the box with Robin, the 15-year-old boy. Robin, who looks like this whenever he's not being written by this fucker. And this isn't even a story that got passed around the office and then shared to the fucking press. This is a story he brags about.
At that time, DC had this idea they were going to do an AIDS book. And so they put a box out and wanted everybody to put in suggestions of who should contract AIDS and perish in the comic books. I stuffed it with Robin.
Jimmy, baby, you write superhero stories. The book you're writing is about who dresses up in a gray onesie and goes and beats the shit out of supervillains. It's not real! Jim Starlin, when he's talking about Batman, strikes me as the type of fucking comic guy who's like, well, actually, that wouldn't be very realistic in real life, so it's just a bad story. The realism is really what kills. Shut the fuck up! If Jim Starlin only has one hater left alive, it's Scarlet. But if he's got two haters, it's me and Scarlet. You hate someone, and I mean truly hate someone. Hate them the way that Jim Starlin hated Robin, because god damn.